Okay class, so this is the example from chapter 10 appendix B, and we are using Excel to find out all the variances, to find out the effect of those variances on cost of goods sold, retained earnings, and then finally on balance sheet. Now this is the balance sheet which is given in the question, and this is the opening balance sheet, all the figures are given. Then the standard cost card is given. This is, remember, this is always for 1 unit. Now all of the opening balances of all the accounts are written over here, and then the variances one by one are over here, and finally you will find the cost of goods sold, the selling and admin expense, and the retained earnings. Now when we start, we need to start with the opening balances which are written, because in the end we will have the closing balances. Now the first transaction, when you go to the book, you will find the first transaction, which is the purchase transaction of 80,000 pounds of raw material. Now remember, the first variance, which is the material price variance, it will come into play when you purchase raw material. So we are purchasing raw material in the first transaction. Now in the first transaction, when you purchase raw material, your cash will be credited, so cash minus, and raw material debited. But remember, this amount will not be equal to this amount, because this is the actual cash which you have paid, whereas this is based on standard. Three things will be based on standard: the raw material, work in process, and finished goods. These three accounts should be maintained on standard. Okay, so now this is the standard, this is actual. You need to find out the variance, which is the first variance, which is called as material price variance. So this is the first variance. We've manipulated the plus and minus signs so that we can find out the variances which are favorable and the variances which are unfavorable. Remember, plus minus, we cannot write F or U over here. We are using notations of plus and minus. Minus we are using for favorable variances. Why are we doing that? So that when they go to the CGS, so it will be subtracted from CGS and it will have a positive effect on the retained earning. This is your first variance. Now for the second variance, you need to look at the consumption. It says added 365,000 pounds of raw material to work in process to produce 88,000 units. Now this is the material consumption, and it is different from material purchase. So you need to keep this in mind, that this is 360,000, whereas you purchased 380,000, and this is for 88,000 units. Now if you know the formula, you need to calculate the variances first if you want to do it manually, or you can do it over here using the standard cost card. Now the second one, in the second row, you will find the second variance. Now over here, raw material is credited, so minus, and work in process is debited. Now once again, this debit should be based on standard. So this will be standard price into standard quantity multiplied by the number of units. Whereas this one should be based on actual, which is standard price into actual quantity. And the variance should be called as material quantity variance. If you want to find out how we calculate it, you can click on a particular cell to find out the reference cells, and you can know the formula. Otherwise the formulas are already given in the book, and this file will be uploaded so that you can have a look at this file. Now the third one is about labor. For labor, the details given in the question are assign direct labor cost to work in process. Now for labor, we need to calculate both the variances in one transaction, because labor cannot be stored. So it says 72,000 hours worked at an average cost of 14.5. Now this amount is the actual. So the actual amount is paid in cash, so cash will be deducted, subtracted, and work in process will be added. Now this once again should be based on on standard. So this is on standard multiplied by the number of units, and you will come up with two variances. One is a favorable variance and the other one is an unfavorable variance. So you can look at the signs and you can find out that these two have different notations, favorable and unfavorable. Now the fourth one is about fixed FOH. Fixed FOH, we've got three things. We've got an actual fixed FOH, we've got a budgeted, and then we've got an applied. Now it says that apply fixed FOH in work in process using the POHR. And the POHR, it should be multiplied by the number of labor hours allowed to manufacture 88,000 units. The actual amount is 1,750,000. Now this 1,750,000 is broken down into two things: 900,000 which is cash and 850,000 which is non-cash. So when you deduct cash from here, you must deduct 900,000 and not the whole amount. So what about the rest of the amount? The rest of the amount is non-cash, which is depreciation. Depreciation is subtracted from property, plant and equipment. So in this column, which is property, plant and equipment opening balance, you need to subtract this from here. And in the end, somewhere in the end, you will find the closing balance, which is 435,000. Okay, so this is done and you will come up with two variances. One is the budget variance and one is the volume variance. Now over here there was a slight confusion because we could not see how the budget variance was calculated. Now it was part of the question. In the question it said that 1,875,000 is the estimated FOH, and this is based on 75,000 labor hours, which are the denominator hours. The formula says that you need to calculate the denominator hour. So you get 75,000 from there and you calculate the two variances. Now the next part is the sales and the shifting of work in process from work in process to the shifting of goods from work in process to cost of goods sold. Now in the question it says that transfer 88,000 units from work in process to finished good. So all you need to do is transfer the amount of work in process from work in process to finished good. So all of the work in process added together should be added to finished good and subtracted from here so that the closing is 0. Okay, so this part is done. Now you sell the units for cash, 85,000 units at 62. So cash will be added, 85,000 into 62, cash is added for 527,000. Okay, cash is added and you need to record the CGS as well. Now this CGS, finished good, is credited and CGS will be debited. Now this amount should be for 85,000 units. Remember this is for 88,000 and the amount sold, the units sold are 85,000. So you need to divide this by 88 and then multiply by 85,000. So this should be subtracted from CGS and the final amount of your finished good, and the final amount of finished good would be 867,000. Okay, and your CGS now is 433,500. Now this is without the variances. Okay, so next one is selling and admin expenses. Selling and admin expenses you pay in cash, so subtracted from cash 450,000. So subtracted from cash, and we have a column for selling and admin expenses as well. Now how do you close the variances? Now all of these variances you can find from MPV over here, material price variance, till factory overhead, volume variance. All of these variances should be closed into CGS. So all of these variances should either be added or subtracted from CGS. If the variance is a favorable one, this will reduce CGS. If it is an unfavorable one, it will be added to the CGS. So now your CGS total amount is 4,371,000, and these are all the variances which are added or subtracted from this amount of CGS. Okay, so now your CGS, which was so far based on standard cost, is now based on actual cost, and the effect will go to your retained earnings. So this is all, and these are all the closing balances. So this is your whole question solved. Thank you.